The Idaho Dispatch. It is May 4th. Isn't the joke? May the 4th be with you. Isn't that the week we're in? uh, anyway, glad to have you guys on board. We're trying something a little bit new here, and that I believe we are streaming to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Um, we're using a software called Restream, which seems to give us the ability to stream to multiple platforms live at the same time. So, as far as I know, it looks like we're on Facebook already, and we are also on YouTube. So, anyway, a different way when we go live here, at least from a computer type setup, is that it looks like we can live stream to both YouTube and Facebook. I didn't see a way to do Rumble, and so maybe they'll add Rumble later on, unless I missed it. But we're really glad to have you guys on board. We are now actually 1 month away, 1 day less than a month away from when I have been telling everybody we have to do a very serious evaluation of the Idaho Dispatch and whether it's really feasible for us to continue the Idaho Dispatch long into the future. The more I watch the mainstream media, and I've actually found myself really reading articles from multiple sides and watching videos from multiple sides, and the reality is I don't know that there's very much left in the country, and definitely not in Idaho, that there's a concerted effort to really try and give Idahoans news articles that don't contain bias, and that every effort is made to cover both sides of the story. I'm not I'm not seeing it. It seems like both sides have just kind of said, yeah, we want our news, but we want it with our own, Kool-Aid, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And that's kind of the path that everybody seems to be on as news organizations. And so you start to wonder, is it the is that what the market is pushing ultimately? Is that what the market wants, is very biased news? And so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight into the Idaho Dispatch here and help you understand why this is such a hard decision for me personally, for my family, and for the other people who are involved with the company. Now, I'm the only one that writes the articles. There are some other owners of the Idaho Dispatch, but it was kind of my idea to start it, and I brought some other folks on board. But and I want to kind of make sure I can see the comments here if there are any. So give me one sec. Sorry, just want to make sure that I can pull up comments if there's any comments. So um, the question is, can we keep it going? So for those that don't know, I do work outside of the Idaho Dispatch. It is not my only job, so to speak, that I do. I do work doing Second Amendment politics on a full-time basis, and on top of having 5 kids and a wife. And anybody that knows the political life knows that this is a very difficult life to live, because there's no such thing as 8 to 5. I'm usually up about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm very often up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Lately, I've been trying to get to bed by midnight if I can, to not end up killing myself from, from lack of sleep. But it's a very difficult life to live. It's very hard on the family, because you're just nonstop doing work, and you're getting phone calls late at night about either political stuff with the gun stuff that I do, or with news tips and stuff like that. And so, I'm being asked by other folks to help with gun politics in other states, along with former state senator Christy Zitto. And so, you sit there and wonder, I can't do it all. I can't do it all myself. And so, what's the better use of my time? What do Idahoans really want in the end? And so, when we started the Idaho Dispatch, that was born out of me getting tired of the mainstream media just not being very good at their jobs, in my own personal opinion. I got tired of only one side of the story being pushed, a very obvious, let's say, a title to an article that was deliberately trying to push people to think a certain way. I got tired of that stuff. I got tired of one side being completely left out of the story. Heck, even when it came to the gun stuff, I got sick and tired of the only time the mainstream media would reach out to me is if something went wrong with there was a mass shooting, or which I don't mind commenting on any issue necessarily, but if something good happened for gun owners, there was never a response from the mainstream media. And so I was like, this is really frustrating. This can't be that hard, so to speak, to do this job and just to write the article, post the facts, throw up a headline, and that's it, right? I mean, that's all you have to do. And so we started the Idaho Dispatch on June 3rd of 2020 with the goal of trying to give you news that wasn't conservative, it wasn't liberal, it was just the news. It was just, here's what this incident was, here's both sides of the argument, here's pictures and emails and video or whatever evidence we can provide. That's what we would provide to the public, and then you guys would decide what you wanted to believe out of that, right? Without us trying to say, here's this thing that happened and this is why it happened, here's my opinion on why it happened, and that's probably what you should believe too. I didn't want that. I thought there's got to be a market out there for people who just want the news. And so, we have had a tremendous amount of support over the last 2 years, almost 2 years. And, we're very humbled by the subscribers that we have. But in the end, I just I don't know. I don't know if long term, if there is a real market there to keep this thing going. So just so everybody understands, I hate advertising. I wish we didn't have to have advertising, because right now we have about 7 or 8 advertisers. I think there's a bunch of candidates who are doing political advertising that will disappear in a couple of weeks. And then we have about, I think, 7 paying advertisers, which I don't really like to have, but they bring in more money than just our regular subscribers. And so right now we kind of have to do it. I would love to have 50,000 subscribers for the Idaho Dispatch, and we don't have to do any advertising. And we're just not there. And so the question is, do people care enough to say, I support this effort for $3 a month? It's $2.97 a month, and there's a couple other options. We have some people who do more than $10 a month. One person does, I think, $50 a month, and so they're kind of making up for, I guess, a few of the others. But we wanted to do something so that it was low enough that anybody felt they could support this effort. But you have to understand, at $3 a month, in order to, I need help. Bottom line, on getting more stories out, I need more help. And so, and my wife would joke that I need help in other ways because I'm totally crazy and I'm up all night doing this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, in order to hire, let's say, 2 people to bring them on even part-time, we're going to need to bring in, thousands of dollars a month. Let's say $5,000 a month. And that's a lot of subscribers that we don't have. Let's assume everybody did $3 a month, $5. Excuse me. Yeah. If everybody was doing a $3 subscription and we needed $5,000 a month to have a 3-person staff, that's 1,666 subscribers, 67 basically, if you round up. 1,667 subscribers, and right now we're at 312. Okay, and our goal by June 3rd was 350, and we're not on pace. We're not on pace to make it. If we end up at June where we are now, we're just not going to make it without everybody figuring out some way to get more people to support the Idaho Dispatch. And so that's why we really had to have a discussion, because it's been 2 years and we'll be at 300 people. Okay. And we're very grateful. We're very humbled by the 312 people who are currently paying each month. And we have another, I think 70 who are on a yearly subscription. And I've told you guys the hard part is with the yearly stuff is we can't figure out our monthly expenditures based on hoping somebody joins once a year. With the monthly stuff, we can kind of gauge like, okay, we have this much coming in every single month. About we drop some here, we gain some, but that's the easiest way for us to go. This is how much we have coming in each month. Now we can hire somebody and bring them in. Somebody's asked, well, what about just getting a big donor that drops 500K into the company and then we can hire some folks? Sure, I mean, I would happily do that, but that can't be what we rely on as a company, because that might not be there in the long term, right? And I also, I'm the type of person that if somebody was going to donate that much money or fund this project, I'm going to tell them straight up, hey, whether if somebody you like, some elected official you like screws up, we're not covering for them. We're going to cover the news as it's supposed to be covered, even if it's somebody that you like. And so, we're just in a hard position here to determine how long is it going to take, right? In 4 years, are we going to be at 1,200 subscribers? In 4 more years, that's fine, but that's 6 years and just not nearly enough people. Somebody said, I thought this was going to be unbiased news, not all one-sided. Why is it always right-leaning? If you look at the articles that we write, they are not right-leaning. We have liberal supporters who say they like it because it's not right-leaning, it's not left-leaning. The articles themselves don't lean any particular direction. Now, if people submit op-eds or press releases, we just post all of them. Like, seriously, I think we've had to turn down one op-ed because it contains some really bad stuff. And we were like, yeah, we're not going to post that kind of crap. Clean it up, and then we can do it. But whoever, we've posted, I think, an op-ed. It was a long time ago by Luke Malik with Reclaim Idaho. Okay, that's not a right-leaning organization, I wouldn't think. And so we've posted that. We've posted press releases for Democrats before, and so it's not. Now, if we get a lot of op-eds and press releases that are from more conservative folks, that's what we're going to post. But you can't look at the articles and say that they're right-leaning. We just don't do that. So, or we make every effort not to do that, I should say. So, but I do appreciate your comment. And if you see one of the articles that I write that you're like, hey, this seems skewed in this direction for any particular reason, reach out and we're happy to discuss that. And if we need to do better, we'll do better. So, but at the end of the day, guys, I really appreciate. So I the same person is saying I have not seen one in the last 3 months. Again, if we don't go out seeking for press releases and op-eds from folks, I don't really have the time. So whoever submits them is submitting them. If you have one, if you're a Democrat, whoever you are, and you want to have it posted, then send it in. But if the people don't send us stuff, then we don't get it posted. It has nothing to do with us picking and choosing. We just don't have those organizations putting stuff in. And we live in a very heavy Republican conservative state. And so, the balance of those press releases and op-eds is probably going to be more conservative stuff coming in as opposed to, maybe more liberal stuff. But if a Democrat submits an op-ed, we'll post it. That's what we've always said we would do. That's what we have done. It's just been a while since any of them have posted anything. But anyway, guys, so that's kind of where we're at. We're about a month out, and we just can't hope to get to 2,000 subscribers in like 10 years. It's just not feasible for me or for my family to keep this thing going. So if we end up closing up the Dispatch in a few months because people just aren't interested enough to support it financially, that's fine. I will be okay. I would be sad, to be honest with you, because I think if the Dispatch disappears, I look at what other news organizations are out there, and they're either, in my opinion, liberal leaning or very conservative leaning. There are, a lot of mainstream media outlets like the Idaho Statesman, Idaho Press Tribune. I think most people consider those a lot more left leaning. And then you'll have stuff like Readout News or True Idaho News or Gem State Patriot, which are much more conservative leaning. And I just don't see anybody doing a real concerted effort to bring you guys the type of news that I would hope that people wanted out of their news, which was just the actual news articles. Okay, not the op-eds and press releases, completely different, but the actual news articles doing everything they can just to cover the news, and that's it. Despite whatever personal opinions and values that I hold, I try to leave all of that stuff out of the news articles, and I try to avoid persuading readers to a certain side. I just try to post whatever we can that is factual. So, with that being said, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate the comments, and again, if you guys have op-eds or press releases from liberal organizations or conservative organizations or whatever, we're happy to post that stuff. And we also are willing to interview whoever. We've interviewed a climate change activist a few months ago. We've interviewed Democrats before. And again, we try to reach out to all sides and get as much information out there for you guys as possible. So with that, I hope you go to idahodispatch.com/subscribe. If it's worth $3 a month to you, to help us get 38 more, we need 38 more monthly subscribers by June 3rd. And that on June 3rd is our 2-year anniversary, is when we will sit down as a company, including this, and especially including my family, to determine, is this just not worth it in the end, to keep it going. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I kind of like this ability to stream on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time, because we can get on multiple platforms, because I know some people don't like to be on one or the other, and we'll double check on the Rumble thing to see if that's there. But you can also see, we got this banner thing down here at the bottom, which is kind of nice that we can do that. So hopefully on election day, the plan is, by the way, on election day to have this set up, and maybe giving you guys results down there at the bottom of the screen, so that you can kind of see some of the election results as we're covering them. All right, that's all I've got for now. Thank you. Take care.